I think let's not waste any more time. If everyone's got their cup of coffee and a few biscuits and your notepad, um, we can start going ahead. Okay, so in our mobile solution and today's training, we're going to go through three main topics: requirement analysis, the solution architecture, how does the entire system come together, and application, where this can be used, how this can be used, um, and how you are able to use the benefits of the solution. So, when it comes to mobile, um, there's so much of emphasis onto mobile now. The reason behind, especially when it comes to um, like accidents and insurance, video footage on that day, crime within, you see a lot of the transportation services crime, um, then your fleet management, your delivery vehicles, your trucks, your drivers, um, and then also on the your public transport system, your trains, um, buses, and so forth. So, these are main things which we see that require attention. And of course, yes, this is South Africa, where situations are different to global situations, but we need to start working in a way to make our environment much more safer, so that everyone can be uh, much more free. So, when it comes to crimes, you want to look at video evidence. Then on your fleet management services, you want to monitor how your driver is behaving. Are they speeding, smoking while driving in the vehicle, uh, making phone calls, etc. Now you have video evidence if it does go to a disciplinary case, and then general surveillance within like a public service transport system. So our solution. So with our mobile solution, um, I just want to get a pointer quickly. So with our mobile solution, um, we can do GPS positioning. So very much similar to your current GPS solutions, where you have a full map and a full tracking ability. Then we can offer remote monitoring, so live monitoring, also video playback, live video playback, so instant playback as well. Uh, as soon as an incident happens, we can look at playback instantly, and also two-way audio communication, which I think is very, very uh, robust delivery. So, within the fleet management or security service, things like that. Provide an alarm type of notification system, so a panic button alarm. So this can be placed, let's say, inside a bus, and if there's an incident inside the bus, or excuse me, let's say there's a, um, a panic button can be pressed, and this will be received in the control room, and then the control room can monitor that event and further dispatch other units for assistance. Then we look at different types of analytics called like fence crossing, deviation, and speeding. So if a vehicle is over speeding or going out of their specific routes, then or areas, then you can also receive an alarm in the software to say that this particular vehicle has gone off route or gone off the particular area. And on intelligent analysis, we look at things like people counting, which is very important, I think, it's good statistical data which can be applied to the train service like how train, your bus services like Ria via My City bus. Um, so this gives good statistical data to manage and uh, forecast operations. And then we look at driver behavior analysis. So that's monitoring our drivers, how they are driving, what they are doing while they are driving. Because if we have a better driver, better service, happier customers, more business. But if we don't meet those requirements, then our service drops, our customers drop, and business also drops. So all of these is how we provide a full solution to meet all of the requirements. So, like I mentioned, our mobile solution is applicable to the rail infrastructure, your buses, be it private, be it transportation or public, your freight services, your trucks carrying goods, either with a trailer or a full load of trucks to monitor. And we look at our servicing vehicle. So our private security services, our policing services, emergency services, um, our school transportation services. All of these, our solutions can be applied to, and we can look at um, more in-depth solutions for each different service and how our solution can benefit them. So now we're going to go into the architecture of how the solution works and what's going to be needed to have a good mobile solution for a particular organization. So in the vehicle, you've got your mobile DVR or your mobile NVR, so we can have a analog solution or an IP solution. And to that DVR or NVR, we have our mobile cameras. So if there's a DVR, we're going to have our analog cameras. If it's NVR, we'll have IP cameras. And this mobile DVR NVR has a 3G slot for a SIM card, 3G or 4G, as well as GPS and Wi-Fi. So via 3G, this communicates to a 3G base station to give you network connectivity, and via a secure VPN and through the 3G network, you are then able to view this in your control room surveillance center. So in your control room and surveillance center, we're going to use our IVMS 5200 platform, the mobile version of that, and we can look at our video wall type solution with a stream media server, our main monitoring server, our extended storage in the CVR, and then we have our client PCs for our operators who are monitoring all the vehicles. And this can be applied to a full range of vehicles, be it uh, uh, cars or trucks or buses or vans, etc. Also on the Wi-Fi has a nice function. So with Wi-Fi, when the vehicle enters into the depot yard or the parking area, it connects to the Wi-Fi and does a backup of all the footage that's stored onto the DVR or NVR for the day. So that's a pretty nice feature. So there's no need to look at how we're going to get that footage of the NVR. We can do it automatically using a Wi-Fi backup. Okay, so if you take like a typical bus type of a solution, let's say we look at a public service bus or uh, as such, we have our mobile cameras, so our front-facing cameras, indoor cameras, people counting camera as well. And to that, we have our mobile recorder, a DVR or NVR. An LCD monitor can be used for the driver, and the driver can then maybe have two cameras linked to the LCD monitor for the rear camera and the front facing camera. So he always knows what's going on around him, and this can also be used for parking and so forth. Intercom is used for our two-way audio communication, as I mentioned, and a panic button. So panic button is for the passengers on the vehicle. And again, your mobile recorder connects via the 3G, 4G network via the internet into the mobile 5200 mobile platform. And on board on the recorder as well, built-in GPS, which gives us the full GPS functionality, which I mentioned as well. So in our mobile DVR, um, the main some nice key functions is that we can have HD recording. So even on the analog 720p HD, and on our mobile on the IP side, we can have up to 12 megapixel of HD recording. Built into the mobile DVR, also a GPS antenna, so you are able to have real-time tracking of your vehicles. Two-way audio using the intercom. Like I mentioned, it's a nice feature. So, even if there is an incident, the control room still has audio communication to the driver. If the driver goes off route, the control room is then able to communicate to the driver and find out the reason behind why is this vehicle going off route. Most probably, this vehicle was hijacked and they couldn't press the panic button, and now they can have a audio communication, and also your real-time alarms, which is also received in the control room. Excuse me. So for the mobile solution, the network infrastructure is very, very important. So we need to have a very stable 3G, 4G network that the mobile DVR or NVR connects to. So using one of our mobile network providers, um, a specific APN SIM card can be purchased, and this will allow good communication from the mobile recording device back into the control room, because the mobile DVR needs to send video evidence. It needs to have constant communication to the software so that you're able to see that the device is online, the GPS data, your alarm data. So, a very, very key part of the mobile solution is the network, especially on the 3G and 4G when we look at it. If we apply this to a closed type of solution, so mobile can also, let's say, if we apply it to like having this into a forklifts, into warehouses, then we can just use the Wi-Fi method. But if we're going traveling onto public roads as such, then we have to use the 3G, 4G network to allow good communication from the vehicle back into the control room. On the IVMS platform. So the IVMS platform we make use for the mobile solution, the IVMS 5200 mobile. So just some key features on the 5200 mobile, what we can do. So you've got your live view and your instant playback. Then you've also got your GPS real-time tracking, and you can also do a function called a route playback, so that to see where the vehicle was in the GPS on a mapped location. Your alarm receiving, so alarms of um, driver behavior or alarms of the like a G sensor alarm, um, communication error alarms. Then we also have a mobile app for your Android or Apple devices where, um, let's say, if it's a manager who's not in the office, they can still have access to viewing the cameras or receiving alarms, and then statistics reports, which I will go into later. So a full array of reports which can be generated and extracted from the 5200 mobile software. So if we look at a bus, a typical case, and this case can be applied in different solutions uh, as well. So you can have a front-facing camera. You could have a camera monitoring the driver as well, and then cameras alongside the aisles. So this is the camera monitoring people entering into the bus. Again, this can be applied to more cameras. More cameras can be added onto the outside of the vehicle as well, on the sides and on the rear. And each camera can then give us different types of uh, analytics, let's say. So let's say we have a front facing camera as well as a rear facing camera. If a vehicle has to bump into the bus, we then have video footage that the bus was not at fault. If the bus has to knock into another vehicle in the front, we then have video evidence to why this particular incident occurred, monitoring the driver to look if the driver is driving well, not speeding, not driving recklessly, and how they are conducting themselves with passengers as well. And then general over surveillance of inside the bus. So are passengers behaving, or are there any types of incidents, or if any incidents did happen, you now have video evidence for those types of incidents. So we looked at a public type of school bus. Now we can look at a school type of a bus, where within our private schools, these facilities are readily available for the kids, and many parents would feel much more comfortable knowing that um, there is surveillance within the school bus, so that they know, if something had to happen, there is video evidence of that specific incident. So again, you could have a camera facing forward, outdoor rear camera, side cameras as well, and then cameras monitoring the seating area to also monitor, incidents, especially in schools, to monitor incidents of like bullying or, uh, you know, incidents between boys and girls and such. That can also be monitored. And then for the driver, you can also monitor the driver as well. And to that, we can have the panic alarm button as well. So if there's any incidents, the driver can now press in the panic button, and there will be, you can then have audio communication between the driver. So, if the driver presses the button, the control room can then ask, what is the problem, and the driver can have a full communication. This prevents the driver from picking up a cell phone and making a call to the control room, or to notify of certain incidents. Then, if we look at the a truck type solution, so with a truck, you could have monitoring of inside the cabin area, as well as a blind spot camera monitoring, so that the driver knows when vehicles are coming and when they are turning, if there's any much smaller vehicles, as we can see as well. So the LCD monitor can be located in the cabin area for the driver. So also to know on a rear view who's following this particular truck. Sometimes the truck could be transporting some uh, special cargo, and they could be followed. Again, using the audio intercom, two-way audio, the driver can now have full communication back into the control room. Again, this prevents the driver from picking up a cell phone and calling in. Then if we look, we can deploy this into like our Uber vehicles or our taxi vehicles. So, there's always incidents happening between the transportation, um, and we can now have surveillance within the vehicle as well. So the companies like Uber or Taxify can now guarantee their customers that our vehicles are fitted with cameras, so everyone will feel safe and doesn't need to worry. If any incidents happen, they are all monitored in a secure location. So you can do your GPS tracking. You can have a camera located in the boot, a rear seat monitoring, as well as for the front and for forward monitoring as well. So, like I mentioned, for our taxi, our Ubers, Taxify, we can have a dash cam solution applied, and to the dash cam solution, what we have is a driver behavior analysis camera. So, for that driver behavior analysis, we look at, is the driver smoking, yawning, is he on the phone call while driving? Um, Also, if the driver happens to cover the camera, it still sends out an alarm. It's called a masking. So you're trying to cover up the camera and it sends out an alarm. Then we can have a panic button, which is nice for the um, people using the service. So with the panic button, if a person presses the panic button, it is received in the control room, and the control room will now be able to view the cameras within the vehicle to know um, the specific incident and why the panic button was pressed. We can have a trunk camera and also GPS monitoring as well, so that to also track the speed and how the drivers are driving as well. Then if you look at our another solution applied to our policing type vehicles, and I will term this as a type of a mobile police station. This can also be applied to our security services vehicles as well. So these vehicles can be driving around suburb areas, driving on the highways, etc. And to this, we have what we call a mobile PTZ, so very much similar to the our traditional PTZ. This is a mobile PTZ controlled using a joystick. We've got a much more robust mobile recorder, as you can see, in case of this vehicle having to travel through different types of roads or be in an accident as such. The mobile video recorder is still a robust device where video can then still be extracted. A mobile indoor and outdoor camera can also be installed, but the more main feature is to use the mobile PTZ for tracking vehicles and things like that. An LCD screen and intercom box as well. So this again prevents cell phone calls back into a control room where you just press a single button and there's communication back into the control room. Again, the vehicle can be tracked using GPS tracking and connects back into the control room using a 3G, 4G network. Then if we look at the train monitoring application, so this can be applied to our cow train, um, I'm not sure Metro Rail and Prasa if this is going to last in there, but this can be applied to Caltrain. So we can monitor on the side of the train as well. So this can also have side monitoring to know if there's people trying to cross over tracks as such, your aisle and door monitoring, and then internal monitoring of passengers within the train facility as well to monitor for particular incidents, but also to have video evidence if incidents do occur. Then on our solution application, so starting with our mobile solution, we break this down into different types of uh, areas. So we look at video surveillance. So video surveillance is broken down further into our live view playback. So playback is our video recording, our GPS functionality, and then our two-way audio communication as well. Then on our searching functionality for the solution, we can search for alarms, so alarms of driver behavior analysis or alarms of harsh braking, or motion, other types of alarms, a statistics report as well, a log search as well. So this can also be done for the control room to look at logs of how the entire solution or the entire software is being operated, and a status bar. So this is very much similar to Hikvsion, where we have the health monitoring platform. So health monitoring would tell us the devices online, offline, communication to the devices, are they good network strength, etc. And then on our configuration, we can configure different types of roles and users. So our normal control room operator will have just live view and playback permissions, but our control room supervisor and manager would have more permissions to allow them to maybe extract a report, maybe do tracking as such, and do audio communication as well. Configuration of our devices, so adding in our devices into the software, and then different types of events, like I mentioned, our driver behavior analysis, incident events, and so forth. So this is what our uh, 5200 mobile software looks like, and this is the live view uh, platform. So very much similar to the Hick Central, where we've got various vehicles which we can search in for a vehicle as well, and it brings up the vehicle's cameras, and we can live view. And on our live view, we can see we've got the GPS data, the speed data as well, and your time and date uh, stamp. So from the live view, we're able to get a lot of information as well. And we can also do an instant playback from the live view as well. So with our GPS functionality, as we can see with our GPS functionality, we select a vehicle, and using our maps functionality, we're able to see where our specific vehicle is on the map in real time. So in real time, like we saw in the live view, we got our GPS location as well as the speed of the vehicle. And we also have different icons to tell us what the vehicle is, the meaning of different color icons. So if it's green, the vehicle is moving. If it's yellow, the vehicle has stopped. Red means that there's an alarm coming out from the vehicle, various types of alarms. And gray would mean that the vehicle is showing offline from its last position. So, excuse me. So, we can know that maybe it's losing its GPS data, or it's maybe out of network range, and we can try and communicate to the driver as well. We also have a real-time tracking function on the 5200 mobile. So we just click a function and it will give us a real-time tracking. So let's say we find out that one of our vehicles has deviated off the route, and it's a bit of a suspicious situation. We can then do a live track, a real time track of where this vehicle is going and how it's driving around. So that when it comes to an investigation, this information is readily available for the investigation. Okay, so we can also do a function what we call a playback function, but looking at the GPS playback function. So we select a vehicle, and let's say there was an investigation to know where vehicle ABC was for the last few days, and we can do this using a function called our pattern playback. So it brings us the GPS uh, map of where the vehicle was, and we can also look at the speed of the vehicle was traveling and so forth. So again, different colors will indicate the different route that was applied. So if the color is in a light blue, means that the route was not yet played back in here. If it's in a dark blue, means that the route has been played back. And if it is in red, it means that the vehicle was overspeeding, so exceeded the speeding limit of the vehicle. So this is very, very nice to have for investigation purposes. Two-way audio. So this is live two-way audio again. So when we have our vehicle loaded, we just click on the two-way audio communication and then click start. And from the vehicle to the control room operation center, we now have two-way audio communication. So, two-way audio can be used for monitoring purposes as well as to find out any if there is any emergency as well. Next, we look at some nice analytics, especially business analytics, I would say, or operational analytics, which is the people counting. So you guys may be familiar with people counting applied to like the shopping malls, uh, specific stores, etc. Now we can look at people counting statistics for the transportation as well. So we can look at a people counting reports generated by daily, weekly, monthly. So this can lead to types of operational costs as well as operational planning as well. This can also assist with budgetary so that if you look at the public transport environment, if more people are using the services, then more vehicles will be needed to accommodate more people, not just via ticket sales, but also to look at if more people are just using a daily bus. So again, this gives us much better uh, foresight, I would say. On people counting, we can also look at functions of general people counting, like I mentioned, a daily report of entering and leaving. Then we can also apply people counting to a school bus. So if the school bus is to collect a maximum of 30 students, um, and for the day, if 29 students were picked up, then 29 students need to leave the bus. If 28 students leave the bus, that means one student is unaccounted for as well. And we can also apply people counting linked to the tickets as well. So customize solutions as well for the application of people counting. So again, if we look at a the school bus solution, you know, we want our kids to be as safe as possible, and as a parent, you want to ensure that the most form of technology is used to ensure your child's safety. So with the mobile ticket mobile solution for a school bus type, we use a mobile recorder, and to that we have a card reader. So each kid has their access card for school around, with a lanyard, and when they get in, they tag themselves onto the bus. And when they tag themselves onto the bus, that information is sent into our software system, and then a report can be generated based on that as well as a SMS or email notification can be then generated to say, um, Javacious, your child got onto the bus at a particular time with the bus GPS location at a certain area, something like that. And when the child um, gets off the bus and off school, the next email or SMS can then be sent. So I think this is a very, very brilliant idea, because for me as a parent as well, I would feel much more comfortable allowing my kid to travel using the school bus. It takes away responsibility from me as a parent having to drop off as well as pick up my kid. Um, Now I know that when my child swipes in, I'm going to get an SMS. When they leave school, when they get to school, I get an SMS. When they hop back onto the bus in the afternoon, I get an SMS. When they arrive at home, I get an SMS. And I know that the bus has surveillance as well. So if there was an incident, surveillance is readily available. So this gives me an ease of mind. So I'm able to work much more efficiently as well. So we're not only looking at we need to think about the broader picture when it comes to solutions like this as well. And again, for the school, they can look at the driver attendance as well. So when the driver gets onto the bus, swiping their card, um, and to know if the bus driver was early or late. And this information can be sent into the software, and a report can then be generated based on those events. Again, these solutions are very customizable as well. So, based on the needs and requirements that can come from your customers, we can customize the solution for that as well. Another nice function which we can also look at is um, on the indoor cameras of motion detection. So we look at a solution where, you know, especially smaller kids, if we look at our smaller kids, when they come back from school, they've had a long, busy day with the extramural activities and so forth, and they tend to have a little nap while traveling in the bus. And if it comes to the bus stop and the um, driver knows that, okay, at bus stop one, there's three kids jumping off, and the bus driver was busy at that time and didn't notice that maybe one kid is still left behind. And this kid gets left behind, the bus driver goes and parks into the depot, and for some strange reason, that day is an extremely hot day. All the bus windows are closed, bus is locked, and the child wakes up because it's too hot. Um, Now, if we have the camera and the mobile video recorder is still kept on for a slightly longer period of time, so like maybe an additional hour or an additional hour and a half, when the child wakes up, the motion detection from the camera can then send an alert back into the control room. So, this will prevent uh, any mishaps happening if the child is stuck in the bus as well. So again, this is another customizable solution, again, which can be applied to the school bus. Then, if we look at the fence crossing alarm, so with your fence crossing alarm, you draw a certain area on the GPS location, and whenever the vehicle goes out of the area, you then get a an alarm in the control room. So again, I'm going to apply this to the school bus, because if the school is in a particular area, the bus needs to not move out of that area. So that's the fence crossing alarm. Then if we look at a deviation alarm, so deviation alarm is we set a clear route, we define a route of where our vehicle must travel. So this can be applied now to our transportation vehicles, like our um, DHL, our courier vehicles. They need to follow certain routes, because you do not want them traveling through back roads where hijacking incidents can occur. They need to take main roads and not go off. So each vehicle can be given a specific route what they need to follow, and whenever they veer off the route, an alarm can then be triggered into the control room. Overspeeding alarm, again, this is very much simple, similar to our current tracking services. So you again set a minimum or a maximum speed of what the vehicle should travel. So again, this can be applied to all of the sectors. So a school bus, a transportation vehicle. I wouldn't say so much our security services vehicle, but yes, it can be applied there as well. Because if the vehicle's speeding, then yes, you can have audio communication to know why they are speeding. Because sometimes it could be for no reason that they are speeding as well. Then this alarm is set. When the vehicle overspeed, we then receive the alarm into the control room. And if there's overspeeding for no particular reason, there can be different types of disciplinary actions taken forward. Then the panic button alarm as well. So the panic button is a hardwired device, which is hardwired into the mobile recording device, so the DVR or the NVR. And if there's any type of incident within the vehicle, so the school bus, has there been suspects entering, or your courier vehicles, are there suspects following you, or people trying to hijack, this can be easily pressed, and the alarm will then be received within in the control room. And in the control room, you now have your GPS data, so now you know exactly where your vehicle is, and then you can do the live tracking, what I mentioned before, and see what's happening to your vehicle. Log into the camera, bring up the camera footage, and see, okay, my truck, there's two guys that entered my truck, and where are they going, where are they taking this truck to go. And then you can now notify the enforcement agents, the policing or private security services, that this is where this truck is heading to, and there's two guys inside this truck, and they are carrying weapons. So you're able to give your response vehicles more information as well. And then other types of alarms, again, which we can set and which we can be monitored. So In the mobile DVR and the mobile NVR, it's got a built-in G sensor, so a very sensitive gyroscope where we can look at functions like rapid acceleration, rapid deceleration, so that's hard braking, sharp turning, so that will cause the vehicle to move off a horizontal plane, rolling over, and a sharp crash. So from the G sensor, we can look at five alarms which can then be monitored in the control room. Uh, rec- uh, and the other alarms can then be monitoring for the mobile recorder. So recording, so a recording error means that if the mobile DVR is not recording, that means there's a problem with the hard drives. Video loss, there's no video coming back into the control room, and hard disk error, the hard drive has a problem and we need to replace that hard drive with a newer hard drive. Then on the reports, like I mentioned on the reports earlier, so this is more detail of the reports which we can extract. So we can look at a network traffic report. So this is a network, a type of a bandwidth report. So showing different vehicles and how much of bandwidth they are using part of your network. Again, this is important information to know that maybe I need to increase my bandwidth capacity on my network, or I need to decrease my capacity, or certain vehicles don't need 4G connection. They need 3G connection because they're using very little bandwidth. Certain vehicles need to be upgraded to 4G because they're using a high amounts of bandwidth, and so forth. Then we look at a mileage statistics report. So that's also for each particular vehicle, the traveling mileage that was done. So again, this can be generated for a day, a week, a month, a year. So it gives us a lot of operational information. So not just from monitoring when our vehicles need to go in for service, but other maintenance of our vehicles as well. And then we look at a online duration report. So this is for how long was the device online, the mobile DVR. Um, Again, so we can look at how often is a particular vehicle being used and so forth. So these reports are very useful for your business operations as well, where it can be used and applied to different applications. Then, like I mentioned, we have a dash cam solution for like the uh, Uber and Taxify vehicles. So with the dash cam, this is also added into the IVMS 5200 mobile software, and you can also get functions of GPS, your real-time GPS tracking. You can do your playback. You've got a emergency alarm from the panic button. You can do a configuration of alarms of the driver, smoking, talking on the cell phone, yawning, etc. And you can do your updates from the control room of the device as well. In the beginning, I mentioned that on our mobile DVRs and NVR with the Wi-Fi backup. So the Wi-Fi backup is available on the 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi frequency, which is very important to note. And also, the other important thing is if we are looking at Wi-Fi access points, is that the device needs to connect to a Wi-Fi access point which can handle this type of bandwidth of nothing more than 80 megabits per second. So with the Wi-Fi backup, like I mentioned, the vehicle is traveling out for the entire day, and when the vehicle comes back into the parking area or the garage, a warehouse, or a depot. It then connects into the facility's Wi-Fi using a Wi-Fi access point and automatically downloads the footage into the storage servers. So when the vehicle um, starts up for the next day, the hard drive within the vehicle is the footage that was there of the previous day is stored, and the vehicle can now have new video footage. So it prevents any overwriting of video footage. So we can also do a real-time backup. So using the 3G, 4G network, but I think your organization or the company needs to be extremely rich to afford this type of service because you are going to be constantly streaming video, one, and uploading video, two. So you're going to have serious good 3G, 4G network to able to do a real-time backup. But we are able to do this type of solution as well if needed. Like I mentioned, the health monitoring function. So again, I think this is another very, very good information, especially for the control room monitoring. So, in the control room, you want to know what devices are online, offline, cameras with no video signal, with no recording signal. And like we can see from a single dashboard, this will give us the full information of our entire fleet. So if that fleet is 100 vehicles, 20 vehicles, 1,000 vehicles, we've got the full information displayed in our control room. So anyone who wants to know about this system, be it the control room operator or your supervisors, managers, they have, by a glance, they know exactly what's going on with the system. And we can also check for finer details on each particular alarm. So if or each particular device. So if we've got a device offline, we click on device offline and it brings us all the devices offline, and it gives us the reason so that we know maintenance on the vehicles and what to do next. So this makes decreases that time of not waiting for an incident to happen and then to realize that there was no camera, it wasn't recording for that day or for that particular hour, and so forth. Now we can fix the problem in a much more efficient manner. Like I mentioned, we've got a mobile app as well for Android as and iOS. So if you're the security manager or the control room manager, let's say, is not always in the office, they can still monitor and just view uh, from using the mobile app. On the mobile app, it still gives you full functionality of your GPS functionality, vehicle data, speed, live view, playback. You can do tracking, etc. So it's a full host of functions which can also be used on the mobile app. And then just some more information on the 5200 mobile software and how it works. So with the 5200 mobile software, so you'll see this here, connected amount of channels, it says performance specification unlimited. So by that, when we look at the 5200 mobile platform, when we add a device, the device is not the camera that's added. The device is the recorder. So the recorder counts as one device. Excuse me. So one recorder is one device. So one recorder can have 8 cameras. You can have an 8-channel DVR or a 4-channel or a 16-channel. It's still counted as one device. and we can have a maximum of 5,000 devices added into the 5200 mobile. We can have unlimited amount of alarm inputs. So alarm inputs would be like your panic buttons. Alarm outputs would be, um, let's say, if the panic button is pressed, it then needs to output a siren and those type of devices. So we can have unlimited on that. A maximum of 100 operators can be simultaneously using the system. So let's say if you're monitoring um, all the police vehicles in the country, you can easily monitor this, or you're monitoring all the bus services within the Johannesburg area, Cape Town area, or Pretoria area. This can be easily managed. Maximum amount of user permissions. So, like I mentioned, we have different levels of user permissions. So, a control room operator will have permission, let's say, only to view. We can have 100 different types of permissions. And another very, very important part of the 5200 mobile is having a streaming server. So the streaming server allows video to come in and to go out. And this takes away processing from your main server, because your main server needs to also process the alarms that's being received, as well as connection between the device and the server. So your streaming server is going to allow for the video to come in from your vehicles. And if you have a high amount of vehicles, we recommend to have a maximum of 300 devices per streaming server at a 2 megabit connection speed. Okay, so now some product information. So on our product information, like I mentioned, we've got a mobile DVR solution and an NVR solution. So on our DVR solution, we've got 4 channel and 8 channel, 4 channel HD now up to 1080p. With our mobile NVR, we can have 4 megapixel, and as I mentioned, up to 12 megapixel as well. 4 channel, 8 channel, and we've also got a 32 channel mobile NVR, which can be used for our train monitoring as well. Then for our security services monitoring, we've got different types of a kit. I would say this is a kit with our mobile positioning system. So this is a long range PTZ, a mobile DVR, a joystick for controlling, and the LCD monitor for viewing the live information. So we've got 2 kits with different applications and different requirements based for the solution. So with our mobile DVR, we have H.265 compression and also various types of mobile connections. So TVI, CVI, analog HD, and CVBS all into one, which is a non coaxial type of connection, a more of a robust type of connection. Then we have the Wi-Fi available as well, 5.8 gig Wi-Fi for our Wi-Fi backup. We've also got a low voltage protection function built into the mobile DVR as well. For our GPS as well, we've got a GPS ANR, so that is a automatic network replenishment. So even if the GPS information does not get relayed into the software platform, the mobile NVR can hold this GPS information for 7 days, and then when it connects back again into the 3G, 4G network, it can then send all that information back to the software monitoring platform. Then for our hard drives, As you can see, this is a very robust design for the hard drives because you are using this on a constant traveling road. There's constant movement, constant shaking. So this is a very high grade design for the mobile hard drive. Uh, so this prevents any dust and any external vibration to cause any damage to the hard drive. Then our mobile cameras. So we've got a range of IP of analog cameras, internal IP and external. Sorry, analog, internal analog and external analog. Then our IP camera range, we've got a full range of internal cameras and outdoor, and also our intelligent cameras of people counting and covert cameras as well. Again, all our cameras are designed to be anti-vibration, so this will give you a much better image in your control room. So these are designed to go into a vehicle. So you may think, now I can take a normal IP camera and put it into my vehicle and drive. No, after 30 minutes, that camera is basically going to disintegrate because a normal IP camera isn't robustly made for constant vibration. Then a few accessories, the intercom box. So for your two-way audio communication, you've got a panic button, LCD screen for the driver, your hard drive box as well, a 3G, 4G module, which can be also purchased, solid state hard drives as well. And we've also got a fireproof box as well, where you can have an external storage connected to the mobile device. So, for your much more robust type of vehicles, like your cash in transit vehicles, where the vehicles get bombed and rolled over and end up in fires and such, this fireproof box will work very well, and some different types of cabling that can be used. For the dash cam type of solution, which I spoke about, which can be used in the uh, for like your taxi services, Uber and Taxify, you've got your main dash cam unit with a front facing camera, and this mounts onto your windscreen with the camera looking forward. Then you've got an additional camera which can be rear mounted, so mounted in the back area of the vehicle or in the front area. And to that, we've got our driver behavior analysis camera as well, facing the driver. And that's it about our mobile solution from me. Um, I just like to thank you guys for joining,